What's something people do in movies and shows that people never do in real life? 1. Say their backstory. Look, Sam, I know you're my brother who watched over me for so long after Dad died when you were 15 and I was 12, but I'm 27 now, and you have to let me live my own life after finally leaving my husband of 4 years because he cheated on me with our mom, who is very wealthy but doesn't pay for any of our expenses. 2. The rough and tough male character will smoke, drink excessively, not sleep, and have zero healthy habits. Then he takes his shirt off, and he's absolutely ripped. 3. I used to watch Days of Our Lives with my cousin when we were kids. Always thought it was funny when they'd stop and just stare at nothing when something intense happens, just before commercial break. 4. Perform CPR for 3 seconds to revive someone. 5. Detectives and FBI agents can seemingly get a private jet to anywhere at a moment's notice. 6. If they're hospitalized for long periods of time, even in a coma, they never seem to need to go to the bathroom, and they're not catheterized. 7. Wake up looking glamorous like they're ready for a photo shoot. I look like a swamp creature in the morning. 8. At a diner, immediately drink scalding hot coffee from the server. It's poured in the cup, immediately in the mouth. Baffles my mind every time. 9. There will be 2 characters talking about something, and a third character shows up and smoothly joins the conversation and is completely up to date with what was being talked about while they were not there. 10. Unload the entire magazine of their firearm and still be able to communicate with their team. I once took 2 shots at a coyote that was attacking my grandparents' chicken coop, and I swear I couldn't hear for the next 20 minutes without repeatedly asking, what? 11. Hold empty to-go coffee cups and pretend to drink it every once in a while. This is such a pet peeve of mine. The way they swing around cups of coffee that you can tell or just empty. At least put water or some liquid in them to force the actors to adjust their movements to holding a cup full of liquid. 12. When driving or walking somewhere, and the scene picks up when they're almost there, and the character being driven or taken there asks, "So where are we going?" This would have been asked at the outset of the trip, not near the destination. 13. Sitting around the table for a meal, but never actually putting any in their mouth. 14. The heroes can always shoot accurately at over 100 meters with any handgun. 15. Instant food orders. Count the seconds between the time Sheriff Buford T. Justice orders a Diablo burger and it's handed to him in a to-go bag. 16. Experience blunt force trauma to the head and just take a nice little nap. 17. Historical characters with perfect white teeth, cowboys, peasants in the 13th century, Victorian shopkeepers. You name it, perfect pearly whites. 18. People with no place to live, no jobs, or no money wearing different, trendy clothes every day with perfect hair, makeup, and jewelry. 19. Specifically for kids, be that fucking rude. Every kid/teen in movies/shows nowadays is written so poorly. Talks horribly towards the adults in their life. Always has some mean quip to respond with. Usually only has lines relating to technology/video games. Yes, kids can be rude, but it's not every kid. 20. Walk away from an explosion without looking back. 21. Sleep all perfectly cuddled up to their spouse all night without getting uncomfortable, moving, sweating, or anything else. Then wake up all spooned up and stare into each other's faces. Been married 15 years. Nope. 22. Leave the milk, cereal, mayo, open bread, etc. on the counter as they rush out the door. 23. Walk into a bar or coffee shop, order a drink, and leave without taking more than a sip or 2, and usually without paying. 24. Step into the shower, then turn on the water. What are you, nuts? You want chilblains or something? Gotta let that shit warm up first. 25. Couple having sex. They finish and one of them says I got to go, then puts the clothes on and leaves. I mean, no wash any of the private parts before putting the clothes on. I hope people don't do that for real. 26. Eating Chinese food out of the white containers with chopsticks, either around a late-night work meeting or on a couch with friends. Bonus for stealing a piece of someone else's. 27. I may be wrong since I'm not a parent, but I am in the middle of Season 3 of Squid Game Season 3, and spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, the pregnant woman had her water break and was holding her baby in a 5-minute time span. I don't think that's real. 28. Doctors who care about their patients and go above and beyond to figure out what's actually wrong with them. 29. She's a poor, starving artist who works 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. but has a massive loft apartment and lives alone in a notoriously overpriced city. 30. Big fistfights where there are people getting pounded nonstop in the face, and they're completely fine. No bruising, missing teeth, unconsciousness. 31. Taking a pill for like anxiety, depression, painkiller, and it instantly works when you just swallowed it, or you took it without water/anything else. Yes, you can take pills without a drink, but it depends on people. 32. I hate that they're always in the hallway or walking to class when the bell rings. If you're walking to class and the bell rings, you're late. If you're in the hallway and the bell rings and everyone comes out of the classrooms, you are ditching class. You should always be in a classroom when the bell rings. 33. Incapacitate a murderer trying to off them, and then walk away, leaving the murderer lay there with a loaded gun/axe/knife for easy reach to do the predictable second attack. Trust me, I picked it up and shot him 16 more times. 34. Become a widely known expert in their field with multiple advanced degrees before age 30. Also have perfect eyeliner after nearly being blown up/eaten by a dinosaur/20 years after the zombie apocalypse. Like I'm going to risk my life to loot a Sephora. 35. Shot multiple times and still alive. 36. Mom or dad making a big breakfast every morning. Nobody has time for that in real life. 37. Open their doors without seeing who is at the door through the peephole first. 38. If you pay attention, you'll notice this weird thing where people in movies rarely close doors. They open the door, come in, then go about their business and leave the door open behind them. 39. Stop running for their life to share a passionate kiss. LOL. 40. Putting on their robe over their PJs when they leave the bedroom, even in emergencies. 41. Aim for and shoot at extremities. Any experienced marksman or well-trained enthusiast will tell you to aim for center mass. 42. Drive down the highway while having a conversation and looking directly at the passenger and not at the road. 43. You sit down at your desk with a fast food bag. You open it and take out a beautiful hamburger. As you're about to take a bite, your partner comes in and says, "We got a lead on the Fitzgerald case. Let's go." So you take your entire uneaten lunch and dump it into the trash and then go. I mean, take it with you or put it in the fridge. 44. In every crime drama series ever, when the police approach you and start asking questions as a witness, you do not just continue to walk around performing your job during the discussion. 45. I can explain. Proceeds to cry and watch the other character walk away instead of just explaining, which would have avoided the whole problem. 46. When people are mad and yelling at each other, they are also yelling rational, well-thought-out counter-arguments to everything the other person yells. It's ridiculously unrealistic. 47. Switch on the news, see something devastating to them, and then switch it off before the story is done. 48. Have perfect clothing/hair cuts/hair color/makeup. Clothing never looks wrinkled or worn. No matter what the person's income level or job, they have perfectly new and pressed clothing and unworn shoes at all times. I'm not saying that's not possible, but even if they have a dirty job, they manage to stay crispy fresh. 49. Sleep with makeup on. 50. Say something beautiful and touching, then close their eyes gently before dying looking as fit and hot as ever. 51. Never work out logistics. Okay, you're going on a date. But where? When? Meeting there or picking up? What time? 52. Just hang up the phone when they're done talking without any goodbyes. 53. Casually brush teeth while holding a conversation and not spitting. 54. Wake up and leave without a shower or anything in the home. 55. Move the steering wheel back and forth while driving down a straight road. 56. Checking out a suspicious noise or calling out to a malicious-looking figure. Everyone in real life is dipping and splitting up when in an unknown area. MF, that's how you die IRL. 57. Characters can drink and drink and drink, and then suddenly snap into well-articulated sober mode when the situation calls for it. 58. Have a conversation while in the same room and within 5 feet of someone, and they never hear what you said. 59. Throwing up when they are given bad news. 60. Wrap themselves in a conveniently detached top sheet when getting up from bed after sex. 61. They have spectacular bodies, but the characters never set foot in a gym. 62. Sit right next to each other on a couch. It's a camera thing, but sitting shoulder to shoulder with a friend when there is plenty of room to spread out is weird. 63. Open French bread sticking out of grocery bags. Don't forget the celery stick with bushy leaves to go with it. 64. Take action before understanding a situation clearly. Also, try to date two people at one location at the same time. 65. During scenes with women on public toilets, pull their underwear down to their ankles so it's viewable beneath the door. Drives me nuts. 66. Apparently, only low-class people pour their drinks straight from the liquor bottle. Everyone else has a sideboard with cut glass decanters, and ice always at the ready in the bucket. Also, sweeping all the food and the carton of milk onto the floor off the kitchen island so they can have sex there. 67. Character says they have something important to say, but can't say it where they are. Screen flips to somewhere that would have taken 20 or more minutes to get to before the character explains things. What were they talking about in between? 68. When I wake up in the morning, neither my partner or I have fresh breath. I mean, we've been asleep all night. The last thing I want to do is start madly kissing her. Neither of us are going to jump each other's bones. Also, I'm going to have a full bladder. It ain't happening unless I visit the bathroom and freshen up a bit. 69. The phone rings. Turn on your TV. Turns on TV. The TV just happens to be set to the exact channel required to witness the exact moment that the key information is being reported. 70. Fighting bad guy after bad guy for 10 minutes straight without showing the slightest hint of fatigue. 71. Having an emotionally charged conversation with someone whose back is turned so you are both facing the camera. No one ever says, "Can you turn the fuck around? I can't hear a bastard word you're saying." 72. Look like supermodels. I mean, have you seen people IRL? Sure, we got some pretty people, but most of us are ugly dogs. I find it completely implausible that everyone on staff at this police department is hot as shit. I don't buy it. 73. Dyeing and cutting their hair perfectly with box dye and nail clippers in 10 minutes from black to blonde in a bathroom with 5% light. 74. Every scene of someone being woken in the middle of the night. Their cell phone is never plugged in. What psychopath doesn't charge their phone at night? 75. Walking in the front door and leaving it open. This happens in sitcoms all the time. No one in real life opens the front door and leaves it wide open after entering. 76. After having sex, the lady just gets up and puts her clothing on. No dribble down the legs or cold-soaked panties. Nope, nothing. All the goods are warmly and cleanly ensconced internally. 77. Step out of a shower or bath and slip into a robe without drying off first. 78. I'm beginning to think those romantic moments of just doing chores with your spouse and enjoying your time together are a myth. I try to do chores out of sight from my wife so she does not start an argument. Otherwise, she will find some shit to get irate about 90% of the time. We can celebrate a hard day's work after, but that in-the-moment, everyday romance is bullshit. 79. Need to talk to someone? Just show up at their house unannounced. Don't call ahead. Doesn't matter what time it is, or how non-urgent the topic is. Let me knock on your door and linger for a 3-minute conversation that could have been a phone call or a text. 80. Blowing up a frame of low-res security footage, then resolving the face clearly, usually after the boss orders you to enhance. 81. Romantic comedies always have some colossal misunderstanding, and the dude doesn't catch on from context clues that she's gotten hold of some misinformation. They always talk around the issue so the movie can proceed to that montage where it's raining all the time and the two people are trying to go about their lives without each other, but they're all bummed out. 82. Walk into a room and finish someone's sentence. 83. Have sex and in the morning hold the sheets over their breasts so the man and camera can't see nipples. Likewise, just had sex and yet both are fully dressed. Obviously American TV, Europeans show the boobies. 84. Go to a bar and order a beer and the bartender magically knows what kind of beer they want. 85. Wrap the box and the lid separately when giving gifts. 86. Be the middle of the day, have the curtains open, have sunlight coming into the house, and also then have all the table lamps and standing lamps switched on. The medieval equivalent of this is the random buckets of fire, where you'll have a street scene, a dock, etc., where someone has set up braziers at random spots, collected all the wood, and set fire to them. For a medieval person, that's a lot of wood to waste for zero reasons, and once you spot this trope, you can't help but notice how stupid and wasteful it is. 87. Talking. Talking in places that would be too loud to hear. Talking from distances that would be impossible to hear another person talking. You ain't flirting on the dance floor, at least not with words. Real life has so much background noise, which would make most conversations impossible. 88. When someone falls the ledge of a cliff or building or whatever, manage to grab onto the ledge after falling, hold themselves there, and then have the upper body strength to pull themselves up? Yeah, there's no way. Bonus points if they catch someone else whilst they fall and still manage to grab the ledge. 89. Groups of adult friends are constantly hanging out and doing things together. In real life, it's so hard to coordinate a group of busy people. Sometimes it takes months. 90. I live in New York. Never have I ever been able to just roll up and park in front of an NYC building that I was going to. Especially not a brownstone neighborhood. 91. Wear shoes everywhere, like laying on the bed. 92. Crawl through air vents, Die Hard style. There's no way those thin, flimsy vents could hold the weight of a human. 93. I'm sure once in a while it happens, but tripping when running away from a murderer every single time? 94. Getting up after being picked up and thrown by an explosion. Any blast strong enough to do that has probably broken half your bones and ruptured something internally. 95. Wear heels 24/7. I know some people do, but most of them aren't fighting crime, doing parkour, or even just running in them. Your heroine can look just as sexy and kick just as much ass in combat boots or sneakers FFS. 96. Get shot, and then is back in the fight 20 minutes later. It was just the shoulder. Yeah, bro, you're down and out for at least 6 weeks after that, and your arm will never fully recover. 97. Taking off their glasses and becoming super hot. I don't know about anyone else, but I look ridiculous without my glasses. 98. Common in all the horror movies and shows. Walking around in the house without switching on the lights when you hear some eerie sounds. Children will never sleep with their parents no matter how many times they insist them to that they're scared when sleeping alone in the nights. Parents will say, no, you're a big boy/girl. WTF man. You guys just had some paranormal activity 2 days ago. Still? 99. It's a minor annoyance, but I hate how inaccurately movies represent money. I think it was in Money Heist where they were stealing billions of dollars. And 2 people walked out with 2 duffel bags. No, $1 billion weighs 22,000 pounds. 2 people aren't carrying that. 100. Crashing through windows in a fight, or breaking into a house by just breaking a window by hitting it gently with a small rock. Toughened glass is yet to reach Hollywood. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more. Catch you in the next one.